Hi, I'm Christy. Today I want to talk to you about thinking through living options for your loved one. Deciding the future living arrangements for your loved one is another one of those tricky situations. There are so many different factors to consider. Is your loved one capable of living on their own? What supports will your loved one need to be able to live independently? Are those supports available in your area? Would a group home situation be better? Is that an option in your area? Are there any better options? And the list can go on and on and on. About the time AJ turned 16, he started saying to me, "Mom, I will buy my own house and live there." Now, where exactly this house is located has varied, anywhere from halfway across the country to another neighborhood in our area. But it's always that it's not our house and he is living on his own. In fact, he even told a friend at church about this. And she came to me and said, you know that your son wants to live in his own. I'm like, oh yeah, he talks about it all the time. She's like, no. This is not living in an apartment with friends. This is buying his own house and living there. I said, yes, welcome to AJ Land. Now, I'm not sure that he's ever gonna be able to live completely independently. But this desire to move out has seriously made us consider, what do we want to do for the future living situation for him? We've decided that having him move out when he's about 20, 21 is probably the best option for us. Now, that's not a hard and fast date. We're not marking it down in stone or anything. We want to make sure that he's got a little bit more time to mature. My mama heart needs a little bit more time to get used to this idea. But we have been told that if something were to happen, he could move out on his own, or at least into a group home setting, and do very well right now. So it is nice to know that that's an option should the need arise. Now, like I said, we've decided that for him, we think that a group home would be the best setting for him. It would best meet his needs. When he's here at home with us, he's not really aware of time, and so he doesn't always get ready and make sure that he's watching for the bus to come every morning, or it's almost time to leave for church and so I need to do these things. He'll do them when we tell him to, but he's not aware of time to do them on his own and to instigate that himself. Now, his teacher has said that he is more aware of that at school. Last year, he had to go to a class and his teacher kept forgetting that he had to go to this other class for this particular period. And AJ would keep an eye on the time and, oh, I need to go to this class now. And his teacher would look at his watch and go, oh yeah, I guess it is about time. Okay, go. So we know that he can do it, but we don't see evidence of that at home. Another major issue that we have, or concern that we have, is that he's not very self-sufficient when it comes to cooking, either with a microwave or with a stove. He's getting better. But today, he can get snacks and make himself a sandwich, but that's about the extent of his actual cooking. Now, on a humorous side, he has decided that he needs to take the brownies out of the oven whenever we make them for school. Now, he's part of a club that has a potluck about every other week at school. And so they want to know what you're going to bring. And AJ always wants to bring brownies. Well, I've got a mix that I keep on hand, and so we mix them up, send them into school, no big deal. But the last couple of times, he has to be the one to take them out of the oven himself. So I've said, okay, fine. If you're going to take them out, you got to put them in too. I think the next time around, you're going to have to help me mix the mix up too. But we're getting there. So the last couple times, I put an oven mitt on each hand, and he did it like a pro. I was actually really impressed. Now, I'm not ready to let him do it all on his own, unsupervised, but it is kind of cool to see him taking a step in the right direction here. It's been interesting as I've talked to a number of different parents, and I've found that most of them intend to keep their loved one at home with them indefinitely. I think the decision is mostly because they feel they're best able to protect and to take care of their loved one. They know all the quirks and idiosyncrasies. They know how to, what their loved one needs, how things work. It works well. I understand that, and I don't necessarily disagree. But let me offer an alternative perspective. Let me ask you a few questions. What happens if or when something happens to you, the caregiver? What happens to your loved one then? Where are they going to live? Who's going to take care of them? How will their life be impacted? Again, because of AJ's strong push for independence, we've had to think of these kind of things. And we've concluded that we want him to move out once he's ready. And again, this is partly to give him the independence that he wants and that he's pushing for so hard. But I think almost more importantly, it's because it will also give him a chance to get used to living without us in his day-to-day life. Yes, I plan to see him regularly. Yes, I do plan to remain involved in his life decisions. Yes, I do plan to make sure that those taking care of him are keeping him safe in all areas. But if or when the time comes that something happens to us, there will be a lot less shock to him if he's already living on his own. He'll have his routines established. He'll know what's going on. He knows what to expect day in and day out. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's going to be a shock to him. I know he's going to have to grieve, just like everybody else. But how much more overwhelming would it be if he was living with us at that point? Then, not only would he have the grief to go through, but he'd also have to make some major adjustments. Things like living somewhere new, creating new routines, having new ways to get to work, finding new ways to do different things, new people trying to figure out his food preferences, and once again, the list goes on and on and on. So again, we've decided that for us, we want AJ to live independently, or at least as independently as he can. Now, I understand that not everybody will agree with this decision, and it won't be right for everybody. But I would just ask you to consider these questions before you rule out the possibility of your loved one living in another location. Now, if your loved one is a spouse, I understand that this may not be an acceptable solution for you. Again, I understand that it's not right for everyone. And honestly, if it was my husband, I'm not sure I would disagree with you in that situation either. So my question for you this week is this: have you thought about the future living arrangements for your loved one? Did I give you any new ideas to consider? Is there something I've forgotten or didn't consider? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can leave me a comment below or a comment over on my blog at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This post originally posted in November of 2018. I'd also appreciate it if you would share this with anybody that you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help as many families as possible. You can sign up for my email list over on the website. This will make sure that you find out about all the pieces in this transition process, as well as finding out about new content as it's released. I strive to only send things that I think you'll find helpful, useful, and beneficial. I'm relieved to know that I don't quite have to make this decision yet, but I'm still finding, once again, that life is good, and there is never a dull moment.